What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of KCFanTV, where we speak, talk, eat, breathe, and live Kaizer Chiefs. Match reviews, match previews, and general information about the state of affairs at Kaizer Chiefs. Today's episode, it's a bit of a preview of the Supersport game, and also looking at doing the review for the Celtics game. So let's get into it, right? The Celtics game, first up. I thought Kaizer Chiefs should have won that game. Going into it, I thought Kaizer Chiefs would win the game and would win it relatively easy with a 2-1 scoreline. But it wasn't to be. I was completely wrong. I thought Chiefs would dominate the game, but it was completely the other way around. Now, granted, I did not watch the whole game. I only watched, I think, majority of the second half and a bit of like the first half in stints as well. But from what I saw, it looked like. Bloemfontein Celtics were the team that really dominated the game. At some point, I think Chiefs were playing 9-0-1 formation, where we had 9 defenders, no one in the midfield, and 1 person playing up front, and that's never really going to work. And you know you're in trouble when you've got one of your most creative players in X team playing just outside your box, trying to pick out a player with the long balls all the time. It just doesn't work. The tactics, I felt, were a bit wrong. I know Compella complained about how the pitch was unplayable. Well, if the pitch is unplayable, change your tactics. If you can't play on the ground, find another way of playing the ball. And is it a matter of Compella not knowing what tactics to use, or doesn't have a plan B when plan A isn't working? Or was it a case of the personnel that Chiefs have that was wrong in the types of players that they have in the squad? Doesn't allow him to look at other alternatives in terms of how we play. Is it his fault, or is it because of the Chiefs management that we do not have those players? What I want to do is in a completely separate video, which I'll do over the weekend, since it's the MTN 8 weekend and we are no longer there. I'm going to actually talk about the transfers the Chiefs have made this season, and maybe during the course of last season as well. So I think that'll be a separate episode completely, and it should be a good one. It's going to be a bit of a rant because I'm not happy with the players the Chiefs have brought in this season. But back to the Celtics game. I don't think our midfield stamped their authority enough. Celtics, they seem to push us up. They're closing us down quicker, and they pushed us back into our own half. And that's why we are trying to find, in the second half anyway, looking for the long balls, and we're expecting Payers to be alone up front, and nobody really supporting him. It was also going to be difficult. We were losing the ball on so many occasions. We were put under pressure. Good game from Celtics, but from Chiefs it was really not good enough, and it doesn't bode well for the rest of the season if that's how we're going to be playing. Another thing that I noticed with that game is that going into it, the starting 11, there was absolutely no pace, either than perhaps Payers up front, but Shabalala, he's not as quick as he used to be. X-Dean is not the quickest player in the world. Buchanan, also, again, Parker. We didn't really have much pace. When we've got wingers, we've just brought in Jahia. Play him. You've got Twala on the bench. You've got Chiramba Dari on the bench. You've got Molongwane on the bench. There's lots of pace on our bench, but we decided for some reason not to play it. So again, maybe team selection going into the game wasn't exactly that great. I don't know. And another thing that I mean, in terms of changing tactics for that game, you can see that we are under pressure. Bring on another midfielder into the mix, and sacrifice either Parker or X-Team, one of our creative players, because we weren't attacking. Bring in another midfielder to try and stabilize it. Cardoso can play in a defensive midfield position, but again, with injuries, I don't know, maybe you can cut Compella some slack. Maybe he did think about it, but just didn't have the personnel for this game anyway. But looking into the Supersport game, I expect to see changes. I expect to see a different starting 11, especially going forward. It's a game, Supersport, MTN 8, they beat us already with a good Brocky goal, but I felt that's a game we should have won. We created enough chances to have won the game, and Supersport probably had 1 or 2 chances, buried it, and that was the game. Going forward, we do need changes, and here is my starting 11 for that game. Kune, he's still out. I heard that he's been hospitalized. Fast recovery to him. I hope he gets out of there relatively soon, and he's back on the field where we know him to do his best. So Kuzwai will deputize for him in goal. No changes there. Back four, no changes again, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Masilela, but I will pick him on the left, Coutinho Matoho playing centrally, and Mbahlele playing on the right. In the midfield, Gatsande, he's going to be that holding midfielder, King Salt. I mean, there's no really other alternatives in that space. Playing next to him, I'd actually continue with Buchanan. I think he has something in him. He's got the ability to pick a pass. So I'd like to see him getting a good run in the first team and see what he can actually produce. That's my midfield pairing, Gatsande and Buchanan. In the wings, where we didn't have pace in the last game against Celtics, this is where I would make my changes. Again, it's the same lineup that I thought would actually take the field against Celtics, where you'll have Jaiya. We bought him, might as well play him down the left, and you've got somebody like Atwala or Molongwane. I'd personally go for Molongwane on the right, and X-Teen playing in the middle. Up front, you've got Paez playing that lone striker role. That does mean that I'm dropping the likes of Parker, and I'm dropping Shabalala as well. They are our senior guys. It's the beginning of the season. There isn't a lot of pressure just yet, So give these youngsters a run and see what they can produce. Maybe even give Tumsani Zuma a run. We bought him, play him, and see how he fares up front. Maybe drop X-Teen as well and play Paez and Zuma and see what kind of combination can spark up there. But I know Steve Kompele is going to play Shabalala there, and he's probably going to play Parker. But I want to see more attacking football this time around. We are playing at home, and we should show that it is our home game. Skill, flair. I want to see shots at goal, good running, and really get the crowd behind you nice and early on in the season. And if you can do that, I think things will bode well going forward. FNB needs to be our home, and we need to make sure that it is a fortress. We are not easy to beat there. And that is my lineup for the game. And watch out for my episode over the weekend. As I said, we are not in the MTN 8, so I'm going to focus on the transfers that Chiefs have made over the past couple of weeks. There's only a couple of days left in the window, and let's see if there's anything else that can actually happen for Kaizer Chiefs. It's the end of this episode, but not the end of the conversation. Drop a comment, hit that like button, and please subscribe. I appreciate the support for those who have already, and let's see how far we can take this. As I said, it's the end of the episode, but not the end of the conversation. Let's keep it going. KCFanTV.